Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we are from group 2 that consists of Beatricia Evelyn, Zidan Asmi, and me, Cinta Anandutun Saputri, will present the subject financial report analysis with the title break-even point analysis. Next. Okay, so this is the presentation outline, the point of material that we're going to talk today. There are introduction to BEP, method in determining BEP, BEP calculation, and margin of safety, and degree of leverage percentage. Next. Okay, so before we get into deeper, let's get to know about BEP first, introduction to BEP. Maybe some of you guys already heard it because we already belajar tentang BEP since first semester, not only in this subject, but also in another subject. So break-even point has another term, which is return point. Return point ini bahasa Indonesianya itu titik pulang pokok. Kemudian juga istilah lainnya itu ada cost profit volume analysis. Next. Okay, so what is BEP? So BEP is a condition where the company does not make a profit and does not make a loss in its operation atau activity. Jadi BEP itu kondisi di mana perusahaan tidak mengalami rugi maupun untung dalam aktivitas produksinya. Makanya disebut dengan titik impas karena tidak mengalami rugi maupun untung. So what is the function of us determining BEP? So the function is to determine the amount of volume of goods to be produced atau untuk menentukan jumlah produk yang ingin diproduksi. Apabila kita sudah menentukan volume dari produk yang ingin diproduksi, nanti kita bisa memproyeksikan laba yang akan didapatkan oleh pengusaha ataupun suatu perusahaan. Next. Okay, so for more detail, break-even point is an analysis technique to study the relationship between fixed costs, variable costs, profits, and activity volume. Break-even problems only arise if the company has variable costs and fixed costs. Jadi, break-even ini hanya bisa ditemukan apabila company ini memiliki variable cost dan fixed cost. Apabila company cuma punya fixed cost, belum ada variable cost-nya, maka belum bisa mencapai BEP. Next. Okay, so what is variable cost and fixed cost? We already know. So variable cost is cost change in total in proportion to change in activity level. Jadi kalau variable cost itu biaya berubah ketika yang mempengaruhi aktivitasnya juga berubah. The example is like tooling fee, insurance, fixed assets and liabilities, and so on. And for the fixed cost, this is the vice versa from variable cost. This is cost does not change with change in activity level. Jadi kalau fixed cost itu sifatnya dia tetap atau statis, tidak seperti variable yang dinamis. The example is like harvest amortization, cost of goods receiving, land and building tax, communication fees, and so on. Next. Okay, so this is what you need to know before we determining the BEP. First, profit. The question here is what is the expected level of profit in a period? Berapa jumlah keuntungan yang diharapkan dalam satu periode? Kemudian the second one is volume. How much production capacity is available or can be increased? Berapa banyak kapasitas produksi yang tersedia atau yang dapat ditingkatkan? Kemudian yang ketiga, cost or biaya. How much the amount of cost that must be incurred, atau berapa banyak jumlah biaya yang dikeluarkan. Next. Okay, so this is the weakness of break-even point. Break-even point juga punya kelemahan. Yang pertama, an assumption is needed. Jadi dibutuhkan asumsi. Salah satu landasan asumsi dasar dalam BEP adalah tidak ada perubahan sales mix dari perusahaan yang memproduksi lebih dari satu jenis produk. It will be explained further later. And then the second one is static atau BEP itu bersifat statis. Yang ketiga, not considering the risk. Yang keempat, not for final decision making. Jadi BEP ini bukan untuk pengambilan keputusan akhir. Kemudian, doesn't provide a good cash flow test. Next. Okay, so these are requirements so that the results of the BEP analysis can be adequate. Jadi ini syarat-syarat supaya BEP yang dihitung itu nanti bisa memadai. Ada 5 syarat. The first one, income and expenditures must be accurate and relevant. The second one, fixed cost and variable cost must be separated. Jadi fixed cost sama variable cost-nya harus dipisah, tidak boleh menjadi satu kesatuan. Kemudian yang ketiga, productivity is not changing. Jadi dalam in BEP itu anggapannya productivity-nya itu harus sama dan tidak berubah-ubah. Kemudian the cost atau biaya-biaya yang dikeluarkan dalam produksi itu not changing, and selling price is not changeable atau fluctuable. Jadi di BP, productivity, cost, and selling price itu dianggapnya tetap dan tidak berubah-ubah. Okay, for the next material will be BP calculation and method that will be explained by Beatrice.
Okay, thank you for Cinta with a good explanation. For the break-even point calculating, to calculate the break-even point, we will need to identify your fixed and variable cost. For the basic formula is in there, break-even point in equal fixed cost divided by unit selling minus variable cost. And then this is for break-even point in unit and the break-even point in sales dollar. The remember at the break-even point, profit equal by zero, loss equal by zero. It means the break-even point. Revenue of the business are equal to its total cost and contribution margin equal its total fixed cost. Next. Okay, we talk about method for calculating BEP or break-even point. The equation or contribution method, it same like a before. Break-even point in unit and in dollar. I think it's easy for you guys to understand this the equation. Now we move to the cost volume profit atau CVP. Cost volume profit analysis is a managerial accounting technique that is considered with the effect of a sales volume and a product cost and operating profit of a business. It's deal with how operating profit is affected by change in variable cost, fixed cost, selling price per unit, and the sales mix of two or more different products. The CVP analysis formula, the basic formula used in a CVP analysis is different from the profit equation. Px equal by Vx plus Vc plus profit. In this above formula, P is a price per unit, V is a variable cost per unit, X are total number of unit products and sold, and VC is fixed cost. Next, please. For the concept association with GVP, we talk about contribution margin, aka gross margin. Contribution margin is equal to difference between total sales and total variable cost, or in the other word, it is the amount by which sales exceeded total variable cost. In other, to make a profit, the contribution margin of a business must exceed uh, its total fixed cost. In short, GM equal S minus VC. For the unit contribution margin can also be calculated per unit, which is called unit contribution margin. It the excess of a sales price per unit, or P, over variable cost per unit. Thus, the unit GM equal P minus V. For the contribution margin ratio, contribution margin ratio it's calculated by dividing contribution margin by total or unit CM by price per unit. This is for the profit volume graph. We know that garis merah dari minus 100 sampai $100. Dan di situ terdapat break even point di ketika barangnya 20, maka profitnya 0%. Ketika barang yang dijual 20, itu profitnya 0%. Ketika barang di bawah itu, berarti perusahaan mengalami kerugian atau loss. Ketika barang lebih dari 20, maka company itu mengalami keuntungan. Next, Beatrice. Yeah, for the relevant range, namely the limit of a cost driver activity when the specific relation between cost and cost driver is valid. We look this paragraph like this. This is the graphic the profit and loss, and di mana ketika barang grafik ini menyilang dan melanjutkan untuk lebih melebar lagi, ketika ada di mana titik di tengah-tengah sebelum menyilang dan sesudah hampir mau mengecil lagi, itu adalah relevant ratio, yaitu relevant range, yaitu di mana barang itu masih relevan, namely the limit of the cost driver activity. That is that for me. Beatrice will be melanjutkan. Terima kasih.
All right, thank you, Cinta and Zidan, for the presentation. The next, we will be talking about the exercise of all of the topics. So in here, the first, we'll be talking about the break-even exercise. As you can see in here by the question, calculate the break-even point in sales in unit and also sales dollars from following of informations. So in here, we got the information, the price per unit is $15 and the variable cost per unit equals to $7 and the total fixed cost is $9,000. So in here, how you will solve the question. So you already got the price is $15, the variable cost $7, and the fixed cost $9,000. So in here, we just need to substituting the known values into the formula for the break-even point in sales units. So in here, for let's find for the units first. So break-even point in sales units, we just need to 9,000 divided by $15 minus $7. So we got $8 from the minus, and then we just need to $9,000 divided by $8. So we will get 1,125 units. So for in dollars, we just need to times the units into the price of $15. So we get the break-even point in sales dollars equals to $16,875. So the next in here, we'll be talking about the degree of finance leverage concept. So before we move into the exercise, let's talk about the concept first. So what does it mean by degree of financial leverage? So the degree of financial leverage, or we can call it as DVL, it will measure the percentage change in EPS for a unit change in operating income. EPS means earning per share, so also known as earning before interest and taxes, or we can call it as EBIT. So this ratio, degree of financial leverage, will indicate that the higher the degree of financial leverage, the more volatile earnings will be got for the company. So in here, we got the formula and also the exercise for the degree of financial leverage. As you can see, there is two kinds of formula for DVL. The first one is the percentage change in EPS, or earning per share, and we just need to divide it by percentage change in EBIT. So DFL can also be represented by the equation below. So EBIT, if you have the interest in the question, you just need EBIT over EBIT minus the interest. So in here, we got the exercise or the question. So assume the hypothetical company Big Box INC has operating income or earning before interest and taxes, or EBIT, of $100 million in year one, with the interest expense of $10 million, and has the 100 million shares outstanding. So in here is the solution how we can solve it. So the earning per share for Big Box in 1 year will be like this. We just need to assume in here. So operating income of $100 million minus $10 million interest expense over the 100 million shares of outstanding. So we will get $0.90. And also after that, we just need to find the degree of financial leverage, or DVL. So we just need $100 million divided by $100 million minus $10 million. So we will get the DVL is 1.11. So this means that for every 1% change in the EBIT, or the operating income, the earning per share would change by 1.11%. Now, let's assume that Big Box has 20% increase in operating income in year two. So we will note that the interest expense will remain unchanged at $10 million in year two as well. So the earning per share for Big Box in year two would be like this. So the operating income of $120 million minus the 10 million interest expense dollar. And then we just need to divide it by 100 million shares outstanding. So we will get $1.10. And in this instance, the earning per share has increased from 90 cents from the year one to $1.10 in year two, which represents a change of 22.2%. So this could be also obtained from the DFL number. So we just need to 1.11 times 20%, or the EBIT change. So we will get 20.2%. So the next we will be talking about the margin of safety concepts. So in here, what does it mean by margin of safety? So the margin of safety, or we can call it as MOS, is the difference between your gross revenue and your break-even point. So your break-even point is where your revenue covers all of your costs that you make while processing the product, but nothing more. In other words, your business does not make a loss, but it does not make a profit either. So it will be in the middle. Here is the margin of safety formula. So the first one, we got the actual sales minus the break-even sales divided by actual sales times 100. So in unit, the margin of safety formula will be actual sales minus break-even point divided by selling price per unit. So in here we got the first one, we got the actual sales of $200,000 euro and the break-even sales is 100,000 euros. So we will get 100,000 euros. We just need to subtract it and then divide it by the actual sales, which is the 200,000 euros. So we will get 0.5. After that, we just need to times 100. So we will get 50. So as we know that margin of safety is in 50%. So we just need to times into 100% and then we will get 50%. So this 50%, this is a comfortable figure if a company, for example, company A has a minimal fixed cost. So if their sales is decreased, it can probably take steps to scale back its variable costs. So if by the contrast, company A has many fixed costs, its margin of safety is relatively low. So ideally, it will look for ways to improve it. So the second one is to find the margin of safety in units. So the first one, as you can see, there is the sales of 200,000 euro and the break even is 100,000 euros. So we just need to subtract it. So we will get 100,000 euros. And then the selling price per unit is 100 euros. And then we just need to divide it by the 100 euros. So the margin of safety in units, we will get 1,000. So this will gives a buffer of 1,000 units before the business become unprofitable. So in other words, we could say that this company A could lose 1,000 sales and still break even. The 1,000 sales above the break-even point, therefore will be contribute to the margin of safety. So they may also have higher profit margins as they will not increase their fixed costs, but only the variable ones. So I think that's all from us. Thank you for listening to our materials. Sorry if we have many mistakes. Thank you.